let's open up the goat cheese. Let's see what we're working with. So we haven't seasoned this with anything. This is simply just vinegar and milk. But I want you to see inside of our cheesecloth what our goat cheese looks like.
What if you don't have a cheesecloth? Could you use a towel or anything to kind of drain that extra juice out?
Yeah, so you can use a paper towel if you don't have cheesecloth. You can use coffee filters, those paper little coffee filters. Just get them a little damp before, and use quite a bit of them because it's just a little cheesecloth just holds it really nice and tight so it doesn't pop. So you can see, look at our goat cheese, guys. Mark, can they see inside here? Cool. So you can see it's rather crumbly, just as a good goat cheese should be. The more I let this sit in the cheesecloth, the more it's going to crumble. So right now it's a kind of ricotta salata, a little dry ricotta action here, but we'll mix this up with a little salt, and it will turn into a really, really good spread. Right now, I would say it's got about 20 more minutes of straining out, because what's going to happen is as this cools, as this chills a little bit more, you might find there just to be a little bit more water kind of forming around it. But we're going to taste this on toast after I season it with some salt, and it's going to be really, really good.
All right. Family's already in the chat. We have Joanna.
Oh, Joanna! She found the stream.
Mary Ann.
Auntie Mare.
She was asking for making ricotta.
Yes, making ricotta and goat cheese, their favorite, being facetious. And we're making mozzarella. Okay, I'm going to pan over the cam to Claudia. Ooh, and real names only. And she's going to ask us some questions, answer all your questions for you about our future classes and about our past classes. So feel free to ask some questions.
Yes, please ask some questions. Like Dom said, if you're new, just join the live. We are making 3 types of cheeses today: goat, ricotta, and mozzarella. And we have a class coming up next week on Thursday. It's called That's a Wrap. We're going to make homemade wraps, making some cauliflower wraps, buffalo chicken wraps, so you don't want to miss out on that. Last week we did not squash. What did we do last week?
What did we do last week?
Pasta.
Pasta.
We did homemade pasta. So just finding, making those super kind of basic foods that you usually buy at the store. You can make them right at home. Pasta, cheese, super fun. So if you have questions about that, you can also drop the link to that Facebook event in the comments. So you can check that out. Read a little more about our wrap class next week. But Dom, I have a question. When the kind of curds on the top, are those like technically like cheese curds? Or how would you do like a cheese curd?
How would you do a cheese curd? Okay, interesting. So yeah, cheese curds last just a little bit longer in the whey. So as they sit and they set up, they're gonna get more of that bouncy, springy zoom, zoom. That's the sound that spring. Yeah, exactly, the squeak. So yeah, cheese curds are a very similar process. Rennet is pretty universal in cheese making. But you'll probably add a little annatto seed to get that cheddar cheese color. And they'll usually sit in that brine overnight so that they can get a little bit more funky fresh.
Debbie asked,
Hi, Debbie.
Raw cow's milk to make mozzarella?
Good question. Yes, Debbie, you can absolutely use raw cow's milk. You'll just need to use a little bit more rennet in the ratio. So for about 1 gallon of milk, you'll use about 1.5 teaspoons of rennet. So for raw milk, I'm not sure exactly what the ratio is. I just know you need to use more of it. But absolutely, that's such a good question. And like, this is the time, I don't think we all plan for milk to go bad, But when milk is ready to go bad, we have no plans for it. It's the perfect time to just make what's called traditionally farmer's cheese. It's time to make just a little bit of a choice. So you don't even have to use whole milk, heavy cream in this ricotta. You can simply just use milk and lemon, and it will still collect fat. The cream, just because of the fat percentage, helps us collect a little bit more, which is the vibe. The vibe. Good question. Thanks, Debbie. Thanks for being here.
Yes, please keep asking questions. Any basic chef questions or about the cheese you're making today?
I'm just mixing up the goat cheese, y'all. If you can see it on cam, adding some salt to it. As you can see, as I mix it, it's starting to become a little bit more of a mass. I'm going to get some plastic wrap out here and show you just kind of how to get that signature goat cheese tube. Four minutes on our cheese. 4 minutes. All right. Mark, is this a good place to be to wrap up the cheese? Where can I go that would work? Oh, this works? Great. So y'all, I have a lot of cheese here. I used 1 gallon of goat milk. You can find goat milk at Whole Foods, your specialty stores. Chicago, you could probably find it at Mariano's. We're gonna roll her out.
How long is the cheese good for in the fridge once you make it?
Great question. So typically I would say about a week. You're lucky to get about 2 weeks from the cheese. I typically go 2 weeks. It's particularly a smell thing, and how it feels. Wet cheeses like this kind of get a little slimy as they start to go bad. Yeah, I would say 2 weeks.
My mom always says to tell when dairy goes bad. Dad, and I know you're watching, Mom, that you taste it, you put it on the roof of your mouth, and it fizzes. It's bad. And I don't know. That was always tough. So when I was fizzy, I knew that the dairy was bad.
I love it, Claudia.
Anyone else feel that? Anyone else know about that?
Anyone know about the fizziness?
Does the ricotta last longer than the others? Which one probably lasts the longest out of these cheeses?
Ooh, good question. I would say they both last the same. I would say the mozzarella could last a little bit longer because it's just sitting in the brine like you would have feta sitting in brine. So I'm going to go with the mozzarella in this one. Thanks, Auntie Mare. Okay. So goat cheese is chilling. I am going to start to strain out our ricotta, y'all. So, like I said, if you don't have cheesecloth, which it's $4. I know it's a little bit of a price cost, but you can buy this by the spool and use it. It's really, really nice too. Very easy to find. Was this the tool I was wanting to use? Yes. Okay. So, gang, what I'm doing is I got a slow scoop. This is our ricotta again. Look at the ricotta. How cute. So like you can see this and you're like, oh yeah, this is how they make cream cheese. This is how they make cottage cheese. It's just a little bit of the fat floats to the top. We basically stop the milk from being able to hold all the fat throughout. Oh, beautiful timing. All right, so ricotta's coming out, and as soon as that's done, we're gonna cut the mozzarella. We're gonna pull that mozzarella out, and we're gonna season the whey. We're gonna heat up some of that whey and add salt to it. That's where that salty flavor is gonna come from. And then we are going to stretch it. Okay. So if you can see my ricotta here, you can see that some of the top here is a little bit creamy still. So when I see this, I like to save some of the whey, and I like to add a little bit more lemon juice to it. That way I can get the most yield out of my ricotta that I can. Now, you can use vinegar in this case too, but I like to just use lemon juice with ricotta just because I'm going to season it with lemon juice as well. I just love that flavor. For the goat cheese, I used white vinegar. For this, I can use lemon juice, but you can use what you have. But also, the more you scoop from the top of the ricotta, the more you're going to get this less watery version. It's going to take less time for it to kind of drain out all the water. This will probably take 1 hour to 2 hours in the fridge for it to get fully dried out.
Is making burrata a similar kind of technique to how you make like a mozzarella?
Absolutely, yes. Burrata is just made with, so before the stretch happens, you just make a, you tend to take the curds like from a ricotta like this and mix it with a little cream. And you'll end up getting this thing called stracciatella. And it is really, really nice in, that is what you stuff inside of the burrata before you add it.
I love burrata.
So good. So even these mesh strainers work really well to holding the cheese. You only lose kind of a little bit of that quality. This is like when you want to hang up your cheese. Let it dry out with the sheet tray underneath. Okay, the funnest part in the whole world, guys. We are going to cut our mozzarella, okay? Are you ready for it? I don't think you're ready. Are you hyped? Claudia's hyped, guys, which means I'm excited. All right. So I'm going to pick up this ricotta first, and just to show you, if you hang it, let gravity do the work. Can they see that, Mark? Sorry. Oh, they can? Yes. Mark. Oh, love him. Mark just bought a house, everybody. Congratulate him.
Yay, Mom.
So I'm letting this ricotta drain. If you do it, let gravity do the work, it'll help drain it a little bit faster. But that's where the cheesecloth comes in. You can kind of maneuver it a little bit easier. So we're going to let that chill. Okay. Next, let's cut up our curd. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just make a little crosshatch. This is just going to make us have workable curds to mold. Because essentially this is like basically like the ricotta. We need to form it into a nice, smooth thingamabobber. Oh, yeah, baby. So I'm just cutting directly through, making a checkerboard. Oh, baby. Oh, yeah. The sound effects are necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Claudia knows.
I agree.
And I'm just going to cut on an angle here, just to get these pieces a little bit easier out of here. But you can see, look how these pieces kind of stick and stay together. And you'll see a more separation of the curd in here without the cream that we have. So I'm going to take this curd out. I need to clean off my strainer. All right. Butte, butte, butte. Okay, so I'm going in. We want to keep these as whole as we can. Look at this, guys. Ah!
Oh, wow.
Gorge. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Mark, where would you like me to keep this? Okay, great. So I'm just slowly scooping, carefully scooping. I'm not that careful to get this curdle working.
Just want to remind everyone, if anyone's just popping in now, we are making homemade cheese. Right now, Dom is just removing the mozzarella that has been cooking. So yeah, if you have any questions about cheese making or any of our upcoming classes, just drop them in the comments.
You're the best. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So we don't have to worry about the brine in this one, okay? The whey. We're going to have whey in here that's going to be part of our brine. What we're going to do is add this mozzarella back to some hot salted whey. That's going to help us flavor it, and it's also going to help us mold this into the cheese that we need it to be, that we've always needed it to be. The reason I'm trying to be careful about it is so that I can get like just some clear separation of whey so that I can start to form it.
Would you do like a skim milk or like a fat-free milk to make cheese, or is it just work better when it's a whole milk?
You can, exactly. It's really just about the yield. You're going to get more with the more fat that you have involved in your project. Wow, we really got a lot of whey out of here. Or a lot of cheese. Skimming, skimming, skimming. Having so much fun. All right, while I keep skimming that, I'm going to ladle out just some of the whey so I can get it nice and heated. This is when I'm going to add in my salt. All right. I'm just going to strain out any of that other mozzarella just so we get just some pure whey. And look how clear this whey has gotten. So this is that mixture of rennet and citric acid that helps us get this nice clear color. It's what makes it look just like the brine that sits in mozzarella, because that's exactly what it is.
Correct me if I'm wrong, isn't there like a way that you separate the fat that you can do with buttermilk? Or is that something else?
That's in butter. That's just making butter. So when you take like cream and you whip it into whipped cream. Yeah.
That, separation. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Just ignore me.
All right, you know what? I'm just going to break all the rules here. Just get as much whey as we can. Okay. And the rest I will scoop. Scoop-a-doop. Oh, yeah. Okay, so we need to get this hot. This is what's going to help us melt the mozzarella again. So I'm going to add in my salt. I don't have all the whey in here, so I want to just make sure I'm not adding too much salt. This might seem weird, but I'm going to taste it. It's not weird at all. Just making sure it's nice and salty. Okay, so you don't want to heat this up too much. We want it to be workable for us when we add it into our mozzarella. I'm going to strain some of the whey out that we already have. And you can see that mozzarella is pretty much setting up as I put all the curd in here. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm so excited. We ordered pizza for after this. Oh, I can't wait.
Are you going to form this into like a ball or like a log? Like
So I'm going to form it first into a big, I'm going to form this into like a big mass first. A mass. Sounds so severe. And then I'm going to form into balls. Just going to wash my hands a bit. Mozzarella, mozzarella, mozzarella. Mozzarella. Okay. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Okay, here we go. Brine in. Hot brine, hot brine.
Has anyone in the chat actually made cheese before? I haven't asked this yet.
Ooh,
Made
yes.
some cheese, or has any tips maybe that Dom isn't using?
Yes.
Teach the chef. Yeah, anyone make cheese before?
No cheesemakers?
No cheesemakers.
So way. It sounds so funny. All right, we're gonna let that melt for a little bit.
Do you have a favorite kind of cheese? Dom and I are both from the Midwest. I'm from Wisconsin originally, so we love cheese. Do you have a favorite?
We
cheese?
love cheese. My favorite cheese has got to be tried and true cheddar cheese, baby.
Love a extra sharp cheddar. And
Extra Schwab.
I love a cheese curd, fried, not fried.
Totally.
A fresh cheese curd. Always hit the spot.
Oh yeah. All right, so I need to form this into cheese before I add it into the whey. That was my mistake. Here we go. Like, why aren't you forming into cheese?
Is there anything you can do with the whey once you've all separated it?
There are recipes you can use the whey in. None that I personally use, but that is actually a great way to like whey to make stocks you can use it with. You can boil pasta in it. It's kind of another purpose of using water, essentially, especially in your baked things. So for stews, if you're just kind of really conscious of those things, it's really easy to use.
Yogurt starters.
Oh, yogurt starters. Yeah, Mark has made some yogurts here.
If anyone has an Instapot, you can use it to make yogurts. Great yogurts. We have a recipe on our website for an Instant Pot yogurt. If you're interested.
Ooh. Yes, Cloud.
Little plug.
All right, I'm gonna let this strain out a little bit more. Just needs to get all that whey out. Get the rest of these curds in here as they sit.
What do you think the benefit is to making your own cheese?
I just think it tastes so much better and gives you kind of a little insight to how much work goes into the cheese. You can have a little bit more of appreciation for it, especially as you get older.
Like it really seems like a very simple process with very few ingredients.
Right? Especially once you have the ingredients, you have them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just real easy to make it.
With a gallon of milk that's about to go
Exactly.
bad, cheese.
Right. Make some cheese.
Not too much milk. Have too many lemons. Make some cheese.
Oh, this looks so good.
Do you prefer any way to season your goat cheese? You just like the good, trusty salt.
Yeah, I really love salt. I just love a good amount of salt in the goat cheese. I like to flavor it with whatever I have on hand later.
I love a little blueberry in my goat cheese.
Oh.
Goat cheese. I just got some blueberry
Okay. We got our hot brine. We're going to hold, let more of that whey drain out. We got some of our ricotta. I'm going to squeeze this out. Let some of that whey drain out. Beautiful, already looking like ricotta. Let's do a little clean.
What's the best way to store the cheese in the fridge?
Good question. So I would just say like putting it in an airtight container, as per usual with things like this. Just important to make sure that no air gets into it, which will take out some of that lifespan.
Where's everyone watching from?
Ooh.
There's a lot of comments on where everyone is, but let us know. We are in Washington, kind of outside the Seattle area, if anyone cares. If you care.
That's so funny. Okay, still letting that whey kind of just come to, so we can form them up. Check on our goat cheese. Let's give our goat cheese a try, a little taste.
Yay.
Yeah. Okay. Got some pepper jelly. I got some goat cheese. Just gonna give this a nice little light spread. Should be seasoned well. Give Claudia the first bite. A little salt, a little pepper, and then just a little spread of pepper jelly. Kind of our secret weapon here. We love using it. Yeah. Check it out. Gorgeous, gorgeous. For Cloud.
Is that my
You better.
Okay. Check it out. Pepper jelly. And some homemade cheese. Sorry, I'm crunching. I'll get my mic loud. It's so fresh. It's so creamy.
Love.
I love it. It's very there's a nice like little subtlety. It's not super salty or kind of like that tartness you get with kind of is this the goat cheese?
Yeah.
It's not like that tartness you get with a lot of store bought. It's delicious. So A+. I'm gonna keep crunching away. So.
Keep crunching. Give us that ASMR.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We're going to throw this in our hot whey. And I'm going to start to stretch this cheese. I don't think we can hear you crunching. All right. Most of the way out.
Lots of people on the live today.
Are there?
Yeah, lots of viewers.
Yes, guys. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Dom's family that come every week.
Ugh,
That's what you hear from them.
they know. Joanna. I'm going to heat this up a little bit more and not set my mixture on fire. So you get a little bit more melt. I'm not getting the melt I'm looking for right now. I want a little bit more melt.
You let me know in the comments. They could hear me crunching. That's my bad.
Karen would be proud.
Yes.
Okay, much better. Now we're melting. Ooh, it's hot. All right, there we go. Our cheese is melting. It's doing what we need it to. This water is a little hot. So the goal is to get it nice and melty so that we can form it into those nice little rubbery balls. Mark got a kick out of that. Mark's ricotta bowls. Oh, yeah. So I'm just kind of stretching and folding it, keeping it nice and hot because we want to get a nice smooth elasticity to our mozzarella. And the best thing is we can really see what we made this into. You know, there's no hidden ingredients in here, just 4 simple ingredients.
Love a simple and clean recipe.
Right? Get this nice and hot. Let it sit in here, kind of collect all these whey pieces. Heat this up a little bit more. Really test the strength of the fingers. So we really want to get this nice and melty. There we go. That's going.
If you're still popping in, we still have people coming in and out. We are making 3 different types of cheeses. Dom has made the goat cheese right now, working on the ricotta and the mozzarella.
The mozzarella. Yeah.
So if anyone's made cheese before, let us know in the comments, or if you have any questions for Dom, drop them in the chat. Love to hear from you.
Claudia, the perfect marketer. Appreciate you. Oh, yeah. Okay. We're at a hot enough pace here. I'm going to remove this. Mark, are we still good on cam? Sorry, I'm making Mark work today. Awesome. you, Mark. The water is hot, guys. It is very hot. But look at, we have this strain, we have this curd all developed. I'm going to let this sit in the hot water for a minute and let it just kind of soften. Because when we're done, we're just going to plop these into some of our whey. Right here. Oh yeah. Yes, baby. So you really want to get this nice and warm, chilling in here, so it just becomes a stretchy, much more like thin and shiny. That perfect little mozzarella ball.
So how do you get for the cheese making process? How would you get hard cheese just from aging it?
Yeah, so you would take that cheese out and you'd press out as much of the whey as you can, and then you let it age. Usually cover it with some sort of wax to prevent it from molding. Yeah. Don't we all?
Just want to shout out next week. We have another class. If you guys are loving the live right now, we do have a class on Thursday, June 27th, so in 10 days at 1 p.m., same place, right on our socials. We are doing That's a Wrap, where Dom is making homemade wraps.
Homemade wraps.
One and buffalo chicken, so should be a good day to be here and eat the wraps. So yeah, come check us out.
And if you're in Washington, come eat with us.
Just kidding. Yeah, come check it out. We are back here next Thursday.
It's so funny. All right, we're gonna squeeze the whey, the life out of the cheese. Squeeze. So we have one really nice rubbery mozzarella piece. We're not getting the shine that I'd like personally on here. We're going to drop this right into our whey. So one thing that I think I needed to do a little bit quicker was melt this mozzarella before I kind of formed it into this piece. So we're going to get some cute little mozzarella balls. They're just going to look a little scraggly. That's all.
Nothing wrong with
Nothing wrong with scraggly. You know, as chefs, we're constantly pivoting. And believe me, when I cut into it, you're not going to really be able to tell that it's scraggly. So the best part about this homemade mozzarella is that it's going to be nice and warm and also just like really, really packed with flavor. You know, normally you get it out of the refrigerator, you got to let it thaw a little bit. These are just going to set up in this brine for about 10 minutes. Oops. And then we are going to cut into them and taste it. So fresh mozzarella, homemade mozzarella is going to be really, really, really soft. Really, really tender as well. So compared to that kind of like springy stuff that you get already pre-made, there's nothing really wrong with it. It's just that this has had a chance to sit at room temperature. It's almost like melt in your mouth compared to the original.
I'm excited to taste it.
I'm trying to force the ricotta to go quicker, but it just won't happen. So I'm kind of squeezing out, if you can see in my strainer, a little bit of that milk fat. So we just have to like let this chill and do its thing right now. I have made gnudi with homemade gnudi with this type of ricotta, and it just kind of leaches a lot of its water out as it sits. But that's not going to stop me from putting it on toast.
That will not stop us from eating it.
Hell no. Hell no. Season up with some salt and pepper. Mix it around. Best part about homemade ricotta too is like you can mix this up, process it in a hand blender, and it almost look like yogurt or sour cream because it becomes so juicy. Oh my god, it's so delicious. Ooh, baby. Okay. I'm gonna give some to Claudia again. We're feeding her bread.
Bread and cheese.
She is hungry today. And we're gonna squeeze a little bit of lemon on it because that's my vibe with that. Little pepper. Yes, we're peppering the table. It's fine. For you, there's a little lemon juice on it. Careful over your computer. Okay. First ASMR bite.
I wanted to like blow on it.
Ooh, that's a crunchy crostini.
Wow. Oh my gosh, it's so creamy.
Isn't it?
So creamy, it's delicious.
Yeah.
I love it. Much better than like ricotta you get where it's all kind of hard already in a little tub.
Right.
Much more fresh, delicious.
Fresh, delicious. We love all the words.
Don't mind me crunching them.
Okay. Next up, I'm going to do slice into the mozzarella. It's a little early, but the people got to see. The people got to see. Mark's is still a good area. I'll move this over a little bit. Yeah? Great. All right. So my fresh mozz, I'm going to slice into. Oh, baby. You got to whisper it to this. Oh, it's so pretty.
It looks like it's
I
coming
love
together.
you.
It looks delicious.
Doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Craggly who?
No one said that.
My hands feel like nicely sauna'd from that hot water. Oh my God, so good. Just a classic seasoning to it. Little olive oil for good measure. Fat on fat. Can't be bad. I wish I had tomatoes, but it's fine. For you, madame. Are you gonna go full in?
Go for it.
I'm going with you.
So springy. So fresh.
But it just like falls apart.
Yes. Yeah, it's so much more melty than, cutting it from the log you get at the grocery store. It's super fresh.
Right.
Really delicious.
Mark Mellon. Oh. Mark, our video producer. Marin's in the room. She can have a piece.
Here, Mark. Say something to the camera.
It's so good. I really have to try making this at home. Wow.
I'm having a piece of bread.
Delicious and fresh. Now everyone is up eating.
The bread's crunchy.
Yeah. It's fresh.
She is fresh. I'm outroing. Guys, thank you so much for joining me for cheese. It's so simple. Stop holding yourself back from just trying it, you know? And if anything, you watched it, you have a greater appreciation for how it's made, for how easy it's made, and how simple and how much you can build it up to make it something even better. So even if your mozzarella comes out a little craggly like mine did, keep trying. You'll get better at it, just like me. So thank you guys so much. Join us next week for homemade wraps. For That's a Wrap. We'll be doing these lives. Let us know if you want to see something that you haven't seen yet. We'll do it. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Claudia.